What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another FPL video on the channel. And in today's one, we are going to be looking at my first initial free hit draft for Game Week 4, because at the time of recording, my free hit is active. Now, I do want to say this though. Although my free hit is active, there is still a small chance I do actually activate the wild card instead. As you guys know, we've had an absolute stinker so far this season, right? It's been a poor start. So I have actually thought about using my wild card instead. And I did speak about that in my reaction video. However, right, at the same time, I do just want to stick to my original plan that I made, and the original plan was to activate my free hit in Game Week 4. So at the moment, I'm sticking to my plan, but I have to be honest, guys, don't be surprised if I end up changing my mind and using my wildcard instead. I don't know, my head is all over the place, right? My head is all over the place right now, guys. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what to do. I don't even trust my own thought processes at the moment, right? Because the start of the season has just been so bad. So yeah, I'm in a bad spot right now. I don't really know what to do. I don't even trust myself. I don't trust my own decision making. It's that bad at the moment. But listen, currently I'm sticking to the plan, right? And the initial plan is to use my free hit in Game Week 4. So what you're about to see is my first free hit draft. Of course, things could change by the Game Week 4 deadline. Who knows? But at the time of recording, this is what I'm going with for my free hit draft in Game Week 4. So yeah, with that being said, if you guys could smash a like on the video, if we could get 100 likes on the video, that would be absolutely sensational. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But anyways, enough with the waffling. Let's just get straight into it. We'll start things off with the back line. In goal, I've gone for Nick Pope, and then we do have a back three of Daniel Munoz, Gabriel, and Virgil van Dijk. So this is my defense, and on the bench as well, I've just got two cheap 4 million defenders, Ronaldo and Goodmanson. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be needed at all. So listen, I've decided to go for Nick Pope for two reasons, right? Simple as this. So far this season, Newcastle are the best defense in the league, in my opinion, right? And the underlying data also does support that as well, because as you guys can see, Newcastle in terms of expected goals conceded have conceded the least, right, expected goals yeah, so far this season, with 1.58 in the first 3 games. And they've played, you know, Aston Villa, they've played Liverpool. So yeah, Newcastle defense looks really good. But what also I like about this fixture in particular is the fact that they're playing against Wolves at home, because in terms of going forward now and expected goals, you guys can see that Wolves at the moment are the worst team going forward in the league in terms of expected goals. So yeah, for me, it's like you got the best defense against the worst attack. It's a perfect matchup, right? You can't really go wrong with that. Well, I mean, the way this season is going, I can certainly go wrong with that. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? The thinking is there. So listen, that's why I'm going for Nick Pope. I just like the fixture. I like the fact that Newcastle are one of the best defenses in the league so far, and I like that Wolves are one of the worst attacks in the league so far. It's a brilliant matchup, as I said. So at the moment, Pope is in goal. Now, Daniel Munoz, it's a given. No debate needed. He is definitely in this team. He's a lock. He is not going anywhere. He was one of the first names on the team sheet. A fixture against Sunderland at home is absolutely sensational. You can't really go wrong, right? He's got potential for attacking returns, a clean sheet, and also defensive contributions as well. Munoz, yeah, he's an absolute lock. Not much needs to be said there. Then I've also gone for Gabriel. Again, Arsenal being one of the best defenses in the league is a massive reason why I've gone for Gabriel. He's got the set piece threat, and a home game against Nottingham Forest I really do like a lot. I think Nottingham Forest definitely on fraud watch, especially after their horrific loss to West Ham at home, right? So definitely, you know, questions need to be asked there with that team. And I think overall, Nottingham Forest have had a relatively slow start to the season now. You know, they've only got 1 win in the opening 3 games. And yeah, to be honest, they've had some really good fixtures on paper. So yeah, I think this will be a relatively comfortable game for Arsenal, and I would expect a clean sheet. In terms of whether he's an absolute lock, I would probably say yeah. I do think Gabriel is pretty much a lock. I don't see myself really changing him out of this team, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, I think Gabriel is definitely a lock. And then we also do have Virgil van Dijk. Now, he's got a great fixture against Burnley away from home. Now, what I will say is, he's not an absolute lock, and that's because there is potential that right now I've got double Liverpool attack, and you guys will see that in a second. However, there is potential that instead of going double Liverpool attack, I go triple Liverpool attack. And if I decide to go triple Liverpool attack, of course that means I can't go for Van Dijk. So the only scenario where Van Dijk sort of leaves this team is if I decide to go triple Liverpool attack, which is something I'm still considering. I'm not too sure yet, right? I'm not too sure. It feels a bit overkill, but yeah, it is something I'm considering. But at the moment, I've got double Liverpool attack and one Liverpool defender, because I kind of do think that Liverpool will get a clean sheet against this Burnley team. So yeah, and the thing is with Van Dijk, he's been really good for defensive contribution so far this season as well. And of course, he's always got the set piece threat from from corners, free kicks, and all that good stuff as well. Now, as you guys can see, there is no Chelsea defender here. They do have a game against Brentford away from home, but I am struggling to fit like a Cucurella in this free hit draft at the moment. But what I will say is, if I do decide to go for triple Liverpool attack, right, that definitely would free up a slot. Obviously, I'd have to take out Van Dijk, and then I'd be able to put Cucurella in my team. But if I just stick with double Liverpool attack and one Liverpool defender, I don't really see a way for me to fit Cucurella in this team, because I definitely prefer Munoz. I definitely prefer Gabriel at home to Forest, and as I said, I prefer Van Dijk away at Burnley instead of Cucurella away at Brentford. So yeah, that could be a slight weakness point of this free hit draft, the fact that I've not got someone like Cucurella. But at the moment, I think this is what I'm happy with my defense. But with that being said, guys, let's move on now to the midfield and the attack. And currently, as it stands, this is what it looks like, right? So Semenyo in midfield with Mohamed Salah, Harvey Barnes, and Ilman and Dye, and then a front three of Ekitike, Gyökeres, and big boy Jean-Philippe Mateta. And as my fifth midfielder, by the way, I do have Dewsbury Hall as well. So yeah, this is currently what the attack looks like. And look, at the time of recording, I do actually have money in the bank as well, right? I do have 0.4 million in the bank with this free hit draft, so there is room for upgrades. But yeah, this is what the sort of midfield and forwards look like. I think Semenyo, for me, I like a lot. Brighton at home is a good fixture, and I think Bournemouth have looked just superb at the start of the season. Really, really good going forward, and defensively as well, they look pretty decent. So I actually do like Bournemouth overall as a team, and I like the assets. I like someone like Semenyo. He's looked really, really threatening. Definitely could have scored a couple of goals against Spurs on the weekend, and just had a really good game. So yeah, I like Semenyo a lot, man. He's guaranteed to start, of course, guaranteed to get 90 minutes, and he's got a good fixture against Brighton at home, which is very, very nice, and definitely one of the better fixtures for game week 4 specifically. So yeah, now as you guys can see, we do have Mohamed Salah and Ekitike as my two Liverpool attackers. So there is no Cody Gakpo. Of course, Salah I have to put on a free hit, right? That goes without saying, and I do slightly prefer Ekitike over Gakpo, which is why I've gone for him instead. Now, of course, as I did tell you guys, I am really strongly considering going for triple Liverpool attack. So if I was to go for Gakpo, for example, right, I probably would be taking up Harvey Barnes, because Harvey Barnes I like, right? He's got a nice fixture against Wolves at home, but he got benched in the last game against Leeds, which is pretty concerning. And I would definitely say, right, in terms of, before I actually move on, in terms of locks in this sort of front line, I would say Semenyo's a lock, Ekitike is a lock, Salah's a lock, Gyökeres is a lock, big boy Jean-Philippe Mateta is a lock. But I would say Harvey Barnes and Dye, yeah, they're not really locks. They definitely could be replaced. 100% they could be replaced. So as I said, right, if I was to go for triple Liverpool attack, right, and go for Gakpo, I probably would take out, this is what I would do, right? So if I just show you guys my screen, right, I would go for Gakpo, of course, for Harvey Barnes. So I'd take out Harvey Barnes, I'd go for Gakpo, and that would leave me with minus 0.7 in the bank. So look, I could go to Cucurella and then downgrade Ilman and Dye, for example, and just start Dewsbury Hall. So look, I could downgrade and Dye to like King, for example, who's got a fixture against Leeds at home, and I could actually start him, to be fair. King actually does look like a pretty decent player, like in real life, and a home fixture against Leeds isn't too bad, so I could actually start King, for example, and go for Cucurella. However, I don't think I would do that. I could also start Dewsbury Hall, but let's just say I wanted to keep Ilman and Dye. What I could do, instead of going for Cucurella, I could just simply go for Chalobah, for example, and I still get that Chelsea defensive cover. That is something I could do, right, instead of going for Van Dijk and Harvey Barnes. But I'm not too sure if I want to go for a triple Liverpool attack, to be honest with you. So at the moment, I'm just going to leave it as it is. But that is, again, as I said, it definitely is a possibility. But yeah, as it stands, I do kind of want to gamble on Harvey Barnes, because I'll be shocked if he gets benched again. Surely Eddie Howe doesn't bench Harvey Barnes again, right? Because yeah, I mean, it was a poor attacking performance really from Newcastle against Leeds. I don't really know why Eddie Howe decided to play a 5 at the back. Very, very confusing. But as I said, if Barnes starts against Wolves, I really do like him as a pick, because I think Wolves are definitely one of the teams to target so far this season. So yeah, that's why I've got him in there. So yeah, look, as I said, that is just sort of a possibility. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is Nojao Pedro, right? I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this team and saying, where on earth is João Pedro? But honestly, guys, I don't really know how I fit in João Pedro. You know, he is the man in form right now. He is looking really, really good. And he is sort of scoring goals for Chelsea and getting assists. But at the same time, guys, how do I fit in João Pedro? I don't know. Because for me, I prefer Ekitike, specifically for Game Week 4 over João Pedro. I prefer Gyökeres in this fixture at home against Nottingham Forest. And I prefer big boy Jean-Philippe Mateta at home against Sunderland. So I don't know how I fit in João Pedro, and that's why he's not in this team. It's not that I think João Pedro is a bad pick this week. I do actually want him myself, but I do prefer Ekitike, Gyökeres and Mateta over João Pedro. So look, before I get all the comments, where is João Pedro? No, João Pedro is crazy. All this stuff, guys, I just don't know how I can pick João Pedro over any of these picks. That's my personal opinion. Maybe instead of Ekitike, I go for João Pedro and Gakpo. And in fact, that's something I've just thought about. That is definitely something I could do. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. Maybe I go for Gakpo. Let's see if that works in terms of price. Yeah, it does. I could go for Gakpo and João Pedro. So yeah, I could do that. But I really do like, I do like what I've seen from Ekitike. I really do like what I've seen from Ekitike so far. So I do want Ekitike. But that is, again, certainly another possibility. At the end of the day, you guys can see nothing is locked, right? Nothing is locked. This is just simply my first initial draft. And I'm going to have to decide with these decisions. I'm going to have to make my mind up. But yeah, that is certainly a possibility. Now, there is actually one more option I have considered, and that is to go without Mohamed Salah on this free hit draft. Now, hear me out for a second, right? Hear me out for a second. So as you guys know, right, there is no Erling Haaland in this free hit draft. And he does have a game against Manchester United at home. Now, I do think that's a pretty good fixture because defensively Man United aren't looking great at the moment, and also I do think to start the season Erling Haaland has looked far better than Mohamed Salah in terms of producing goals and assists. He's been so much more involved, and I actually do want to say I think the FPL managers that have gone for Salah over Haaland are actually quite lucky to not be a lot more behind on FPL points, because at the moment Erling Haaland only has one more FPL return than Mohamed Salah. But honestly, so far, in the opening 3 games, Erling Haaland should have a lot more, if I'm being totally honest with you. So, yeah, I think Haaland has been a lot more convincing than Mohamed Salah. So that is why I am considering, right, going for Haaland and no Salah on this free hit draft. And I want to sort of tell you guys how that would work and what I would do. So, yeah, look, let's take out Gyökeres. Let's take out Salah. Let's take out Harvey Barnes, first things first, right? So, what I would actually do if I wasn't going to go for Salah is I'd bring in Cody Gakpo, right, and I would bring in a Florian Wirtz. So I go triple Liverpool attack, and of course that would mean I'd have to take out Van Dijk, which is okay. But I would go triple Liverpool attack. I'd go for Gakpo, Wirtz, and Ekitike. And the reason why I would do that, the thinking behind it, right, is so that essentially if Mohamed Salah does return, surely, right, it's going to be one of these 3 players that are always involved in the goals or assists. So for example, if Salah scores a goal, like there's a good chance that one of Gakpo, Wirtz or Ekitike will get the assist for that Salah goal, right? If Salah gets an assist, there's a good chance that one of Gakpo, Wirtz and Ekitike will be the goal scorer of that Mohamed Salah assist. So essentially, I'm just picking all the players around Mohamed Salah that will be involved in the goals and assists, if that sort of makes sense. So if Salah gets a return, there's a good sort of likely chance that I will get a return from one of these 3 players, right? That's the sort of thinking behind it. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, but I think it's a pretty decent idea. And then that would obviously allow me to go for Erling Haaland, and then instead of going for Van Dijk, like I mentioned, I'll be able to go for Cucurella. So that's something I have thought about, guys. And it's something I am thinking about. Of course, if I decide to go without Salah, it means I'd have to captain one of these 3 Liverpool players. So it would probably be Ekitike in that case, because I do like him a lot. I know Wirtz hasn't been very good, but I think Burnley away is a very, very good fixture on paper. And this could be the game where Wirtz actually does produce some goals and assists. And of course, with just strategy as well, that means no João Pedro still. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it. And I think the thinking, but like the thinking, it does make sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but yeah, to me it does kind of make sense to go for all the attacking players around Mohamed Salah. So if Salah does something, surely one of Wirtz, Gakpo or Ekitike will be involved, like I just explained. So yeah, that is something to consider, because I do like Haaland as a pick. And look, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this, because at the same time, as much as I really do like Haaland over Salah, I think when you look at this fixture individually, Manchester United at home, it's an unpredictable fixture. I know Man United are poor defensively. However, it is a Manchester derby, and anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. So that's why I'm not too sure at the moment. And at the same time, I just know there's a lot of FPL managers out there that do own Mohamed Salah and are going to have him captain. So do I want to bet against Mohamed Salah? I'm not too sure. But as I said, guys, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is confirmed, right? This is just me just relaying all my thoughts to you guys and my thinking right now. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of different avenues to take. It's just which one is the best one. I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have a think. But yeah, for now, this is where I'm at. Comment down below, guys. What are your thoughts on my free hit draft? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Let me know. Do you think I should go triple Liverpool attack? Should I go for Gakpo and João Pedro instead of Harvey Barnes and Ekitike? These are decisions that I need to sort of finalize and think about for sure. But yeah, definitely, guys, let me know your thoughts and feelings down below in the comments. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate the support and on the channel. Honestly, guys, it's been absolutely amazing. So yeah, genuinely, guys, I really do appreciate the support that you guys have been showing me on the channel. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and yeah, man, just enjoy the international break, and we'll be back next week with some more videos. So yeah, until then, I'm out. Peace.